What's up, guys? Justin here with the SketchUpEssentials.com. So in today's video, we're going to continue our series on the best architectural extensions for SketchUp by checking out a smart profile and assembly creation tool called Profile Builder. Let's go ahead and just jump into it. All right, so this video is a continuation of my series on the best architectural extensions for SketchUp in 2026. If you want to get the full guide, including links to the different extensions, videos on how to use them, and the example models from this series, you can check that out at TheSketchUpEssentials.com/architecture extensions to download the free guide. And so Profile Builder is a paid tool that allows you to create these smart profiles and assemblies directly inside of SketchUp. So what that does is that allows you to automate the processes of modeling things, and it's especially helpful for things like framed walls or stair railings or things that have repeating elements. And so when we talk about this tool, there's really two things that you can do with it. I mean, there's more, but I mean, if you break it down conceptually, right, there's the ability to create profiles and there's the ability to create assemblies. Now, what profiles are is they're basically two-dimensional profiles that you can create and bring into the program, and you can use them in order to quickly create those elements inside of SketchUp. So you can create the 2D profile and then you can create a 3D extrusion from that profile. So we use those a lot for things like base and crown molding and things like that. Now the other thing, and I want to make sure I talk about it here for a second, we'll get more in depth in a minute, is assemblies. So what assemblies are is these are elements that not only have profiles, but they also have repeating elements. So things like fence supports or other things like that. So you can see how there's a number of these built in, but these basically allow the smart creation of things like railings, right? So they're automatically going to fill in these kind of vertical elements in addition to having the horizontal things that get extruded along your path. Now we'll talk about those in a second. First off, I do want to talk more about the profiles because I actually find these to be an extremely valuable tool. And so these are, you can basically create any kind of profile you want, right? There's a number of profiles that are built into the program like this that you can just use in order to really quickly create these, but you can also create your own. I'll show you how to do that in a second. But one of the things that's really valuable about this tool is it gives you the ability to not only click along a path, but let's say we wanted to add a piece of base, for example. You could either click along the path right here, and notice how it'll automatically generate the junctions at the corners and things like that. You can also use the function to just build along a path. So you can select the entire perimeter of a room and add like a base or crown molding or something like that with a single click. So this is super valuable from that standpoint, and I love it for this kind of application because it saves me a lot of time. Now, one of the interesting things about this is you also have the ability when you select these profiles, they're non-destructive in the sense that I can come in here, for example, and say I don't like the direction that this is going. I can select the profile that I've created, come in here and edit the attributes. And in this case, we're going to edit the mirror right here, and that's going to flip the direction this is oriented. So you can use this in order to make changes to things like that, as well as other things too. And so one of the things I really like about it is it supports not only profiles with thickness, but if we look at this gutter, for example, notice how the profile that this gutter brings in, this is a completely, there's no thickness associated with this profile. So you can create a two-dimensional profile that's just line work and then use that to create an extrusion. Now there's this button over here where you can stamp the profile, so you can get in here and you can actually take a look at what it is. And then there's also some functions in here for editing, which I find extremely valuable. But say that you wanted to create a custom profile, like for example, I've got this trim detail that I want to add to this wall. Well, what I've done is I've drawn it in 2D flat on the ground. Well, now if I click in here and I click on the option for new copy/profile, and we're just going to call this trim right here. Notice what that's going to do is that's going to pick this up and it's going to basically create a two-dimensional profile that you can then add in SketchUp. Now there's other things you can do like adjusting the orientation. So I can set the natural orientation of this, and I can also set where the insertion point is. So in this case, right, we'll go ahead and we'll pick the bottom left, no, the top right option right here to set this as our base. But then if I take this, this is a completely custom profile that we've just created, and I can use this in order to add this to whatever my model is. But one of the cool things about this is we can also save this to access it later. So if you have things that you use over and over again, you can save them to a library and access them in future projects so that you're not having to just regenerate this over and over and over again. Now, one cool thing about this is if I select this, right, there's an option in here to edit the profile of the active profile member. Well, if I do that, what I need to do is I need to double click into this member and then click on this option right here. Well, what that's going to do is that's going to take me into this mode right here where I can actually make a change or an adjustment like this. But then when I click out of it, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say yes, in this case, notice how it came in here and it adjusted this profile based on that change that I made. So not only is this a profile that we can create and we can come back and we can make adjustments, right, about the placement in here, but we can also edit that profile in place when you're making changes. Now, this also will work along curved paths. So say that I was to take this curb and gutter profile, right? So we'll say curb and gutter. We'll hit the enter key, right? And in this case, again, we want this to be top left right here, but I've got this path that follows along this curve. Well, if I place this in here, notice how that's going to follow not only along the straight edges, but it'll also extrude it along the curve, giving you a very nice extrusion in here like this. And then another cool thing that I really like about this is say that you needed to make a change to your wall, right? So I've got this corner in here that's got this little bump out. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a piece of crown molding to this. So we'll just add the piece of crown molding right here like this. Well, one thing that you can do is if you double click in here and you double click on this element, there's an option to edit the path of the active profile member or assembly. So say that I was to take this wall and this, this bump out went away, right? Like this. Well, the problem is your profile member still follows along this path. Well, if I double click in here, click in the option to edit the path, and I'll do a hide everything but the group that I'm editing so you can see this. Now, if I take this path and I adjust it like so, right? So we're going to erase this and then I click out of here. Notice what it's done is it's actually changed the path of the profile that's in here as well. So these are really quickly editable and adjustable, not just from a path standpoint or not just from a profile standpoint, but also from a path standpoint. Okay, and so in addition, and this is probably the more like visually impressive thing, though I use the profiles a lot. There's an option here to create assemblies, which we've talked about a little bit, but basically this is a tool that allows you to combine the vertical supports and the horizontal extrusions, right? So if you look at a bunch of these are basically tools designed to help you automate the creation of things like this fence, for example. So notice how it's automatically adding the supports and spacing those out. So we've also got options in here for doing cool railings, and you can use it to create like 2x6 walls or any kind of wall, right? You can create like this cavity wall, for example, is a really good example of what this is. So if you look at this, this creates a cavity wall that has a foundation. It's got a flashing, it's got brick, it's got insulation in it, and it's adding all of those different profiles as you create them, like this. And so that can be really fun. It has the same kind of functions that the profiles tool has, in the sense that you can come in here, for example, and if you've got a path like this, you can pick a profile. So we'll pick this railing right here. We'll use this option right here. Notice how it'll automatically create the railing along the path. Now, the fun thing about this is you can create your own assemblies, right? And I'll link to a video I did that gets like way in depth on this. I don't want you to have to worry about it too much. But I mean, conceptually, if you think about it, a fence is basically made up of pieces that get extruded along the path and pieces that get repeated along the path. So in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to add a new assembly. We're just going to call it fence right here. And we're going to start by adding the component. So the component is going to be the vertical support right here. So we're just going to click in here and you can pick a component from your model. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and we're going to pick this component right here, and we can set our spacing, right? And so one thing that I'll do with this is I'll go ahead and I'll create a copy of this assembly right here. And so when I make changes over here, what I can do is I can update this with those changed so that we can see what this is doing in real time. But now what we need to do is we need to create the horizontal supports. Well, the horizontal supports need to be profiles, right? So we're going to add a profile member to this. And so what we want to do is we want to create this 2x4 that's going to go in here as a profile, right? So I'm just going to click in here. And it's a lot of the time better to model these profiles flat like so. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to lay this down like this. But if we click on this, and we're just going to call this fence support right here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just drop a copy of this in the model so that I can pick it. Well, now when I'm working on my assembly and I'm adding that profile member, I can just pick this from my model. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to single click in here. I'm going to click on the option to apply assembly attributes. Well, notice what that's done is that's come in here and that's placed this piece of wood just based on the origin of the created object. Well, what we want to do is we want to tell this, no, we actually want this to run along our fence, kind of on the front. We're going to keep this very simple. It's just going to be flush mounted on here, right? So what I need to do is I need to move this over by this far, which is going to be 3/4 of an inch. So I'm just going to set my left-right offset on that piece to 3/4 of an inch. So now if I click in here and I update this, this moves this forward. Well, I also want this to be, I don't know, maybe 24 inches above the ground, right? So I'll just set an up-down offset of 24 inches right here. In this case, you would probably actually want it to be 24 inches plus 1 3/4. So this would be 25 3/4 of an inch right here. But what I want to do is I want to repeat that again, right? So there's an option in here to copy that profile member. And I want this to be, we'll call it 3 feet higher than the first one. And we'll click on OK. So what that's going to do is that's going to copy that in here like this, right? So now you've got your vertical supports and you've got your horizontal supports in here. And you can get more in depth with those if you want to. I'm not worrying about it too much for this video. But now what I want to do is I want to set this up where it repeats a slat along the face, right? And so again, this is just a component that's going to get repeated over and over again. So we're just going to add a component. Whoops. We're going to click on the plus button right here, and I'm going to pick this component right here, right? And so notice how it dropped it in here. We need to move it out by basically the thickness of this wood. So we probably need to move this over either by 1.5 inches or 1.5 inches plus 3/4, which would be 2 1/4 inches. So we'll go ahead and we'll do that. So we're just going to pick that element and we're going to say we want this to be out 2.25 right here, right? Well, now I want to set my spacing. And so my spacing needs to be 5.5 inches plus whatever I want my gap to be. So if we set it to 5.5 right here, and then we're going to update this, notice how this is going to be placed every 5.5 inches. But I want there to be a little bit of a gap. So we're going to say, instead of 5.5, we'll say 5.75. and update this. Well, notice how now I have a gap in here. And so all we've done is we've basically come in here and we've set this up where it's going to repeat your vertical supports, it's going to repeat your horizontal supports, and it's going to repeat your pieces that are in here. And so now if I come in here and draw along this path like this, you can see how it's automatically adding in those supports. And right now what it's doing is it's creating those supports at equal spacing along the path, right? So it's not actually doing 8 feet because 8 feet is kind of like the maximum. But in this case, what it's doing is it's finding something where the supports are going to be equally spaced in here. You can toggle the way that it does that using the tools in here. Now, there are other more complex tools called spans. And so what spans do, and I'm going to say no on Save Current Assembly right now, but what a span is it's something that basically creates something between your supports, right? So in this case, if you look at this fence, what we've done is we've created a support that just runs over the face right here. But if we wanted this to be a fence that basically had this run between instead of on the face of, you would use a span. And so a good example of a span that's built in is we're just going to pick maybe this option right here because it really shows what we're doing. So if I click in here and I add this element, like so, what it does is it figures out where your support elements are, and then it spans between the support elements as opposed to going over the front. And I can link to a video down below showing you how to do that in more depth, but I want you to know that that's there. Now, there's a ton of other cool tools in here, which we're not going to worry too much about for right now, but you've got the ability to split members. You've got the ability to join members. One of the ones I really like, though, that I want to make sure I talk about is say that you're creating a railing assembly like this one, right? So I'm going to drop this in like so. And say that you wanted to add a gap in here. Well, there's a function in here that allows you, I believe it's the extend or split profile members. And what that'll do is that'll allow you to pick a part of a profile like so. And you can either split the profile or you can trim the profile. So if I wanted to make this shorter, for example, I could just click again and that's going to shorten this whole thing. But if I click in here and I tap the control key, what it's going to do is it's going to add a split, right? So it basically split this between profiles. Well, then now I could use this in order to create a gap in the profile. So I really, really like that tool for being able to add openings into things you've already created without having to remodel them. So I find that extremely valuable. And then finally, one other tool in here that I really use a lot is called the Smart Path Selection tool. And so what the Smart Path Selection tool does is it basically, and we'll go ahead and let's use sandbox tools in order to create a from scratch terrain in here. Basically what the Smart Path Select tool does is it will try to find the fastest path based on a selection that you have in here. And so if you've ever come in here and erased something out and created kind of a gap in a terrain like this one, and it's probably ideal if I select the other direction like this. But say that I wanted to pick up the perimeter in here. Well, that's a lot of clicking. Well, what the Smart Path Select tool does is it'll come in here and it will actually find the shortest path for you like so. So I could use this to pick up the entire perimeter of this shape and then hit the enter key just like this. So it's a super fast way of selecting things in the fastest way possible. So I really love this tool and I use it a lot for my landscape and terrain editing to do quick selections like this one instead of me having to go in there and manually pick up all of those different edges. All right, so there's a ton of stuff in this tool. I absolutely love using it. Honestly, I find myself using the profiles the most because they allow me to quickly add things like base and crown molding without me having to go in there and like manually draw them and manage them. If I make changes, I can make changes, things like that. So if you want to check out this extension and other great extensions in this series, make sure you check out my architectural extensions guide. As always, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks, guys.